Hello, good morning, and welcome to Entrepreneurship Week 2 of 8. This is quarter 4, and so we're going to kick things off and get things going. Let's start with a recap of last night. We had, we had some really good housekeeping, you guys, and a warm up, which you guys helped me understand ways to improve this class. And so I'm going to be implementing those suggestions that you came up with. You also came up with some good ideas about how to improve your performance in the class. And so I'm excited for you to implement those in your life. We then looked at 10 ways to evaluate a market. And this time we looked at upsell. So once a customer purchases your product or service, what secondary products or services can you offer them that are related to their purchase? And so we did some brainstorming on that. And now this is a tool that you have in your toolbox when are out selling your products and services. You know this technique of upselling. I want you to be on the lookout for it in your life when you go to a restaurant, when you go to Home Depot or Target. Where are examples of upselling that marketers are doing with you? And so that again, just a tool in your toolbox. We next got into our new unit, which we're going to be doing every week, which is financial modeling. And we're starting really simple, and we're just looking at what a revenue model can look like and how to build one. And your assignment this week is to build a revenue model. And then we looked at our business project, and I kind of gave you new deadlines and a new part of the project, which we'll talk about in a minute. Well, let's dive in to our financial modeling unit. And I want to show you where that's at out on Schoology. So if you come to your new Schoology course and you click on week 2, and then you're going to see a new folder called BF Business Financials. And in there, we have our rubric / Dropbox. And so I'll pop this open so you can look at it. So here is the assignment for the week. So it says State Fair Soda Sales, Financial Modeling. Okay, well, it says you are considering starting a soda selling venture outside the Minnesota State Fair. You heard you could make good money. To start, you'll want to sell 2 products, bottled water and cans of pop. Create a financial model showing 14-day revenue for the following scenario. So here we have soda, and we have your bottled water. Well, we got some assumptions that you're going to make. Number of unit sales per day. So here you're saying, hey, I think I'm going to sell 150 cans of Coke or pop and 250 bottles of water. And then we have another assumption. Price you will charge your customers. So $1.50 and $1. So what you want to do is you want to build a revenue model showing 14 days of sales given these assumptions. And then at the bottom here, I have some questions for you. How much revenue will you make each day? How much revenue will you make over 14 days? And if soda sales dropped to 75 cans per day, how much revenue will you make per day? So let's get started on this. We know that Our end goal is for you to create complex business financial models like you see here. So this is our end goal. This first activity is really simple. We're not even taking into account expenses. We're just talking about revenue. And so I gave you the example of for us to practice with this school store. So this is an in-class example that we're going to walk through right now, that will kind of orient you about how to get started. So you plan to start a school store. Your first three products are below. So a notebook, a pen, and a hat. What I wanted you to do was build a daily revenue model for this business. And I gave you your assumptions down here. $1.50 per notebook, and you're going to sell 15 of these a day. $1, you're going to sell this pen for $1, and you're going to sell 30 a day. And you're going to sell this hat for $15, and you're going to sell 3 a day. So how do we get started? Well, first, you want to gather all your assumptions. And I would say your assumptions are here. So the price and the daily sales, these are the assumptions I'm talking about. You want to gather those. You want to get those assumptions into a spreadsheet, which we're going to do in just a minute here. Then you're going to build out a representation of reality using calculations. And then lastly, you're going to clean, simplify, label, and format your spreadsheet. So let's do this. To get a new spreadsheet, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Google. So let me get there. Let me get to Google here. In your App Center, you're going to click the App Center and then go down to this application called Sheets, Google Sheets. When you click it, something like this should open up. Now, to name this and save it, you're going to put a name here. So you can say like, whatever, soda sheets. Remember, we're working on the State Fair project. So State Fair soda sales. And then if you click this little folder right here, you can be intentional about where you save it. So if you want to save it to a folder, you can go figure out which folder you want to save it to. Great. Well, remember that we said we want to get our assumptions into the spreadsheet. So let's just get those assumptions here. So we're going to say we're selling a notebook, pens, and hats. Okay, so this is what we're selling. Let's label this column. So I'm going to call this products to sell. Oops. What else do we know? We know that we're going to charge $1.50 for notebooks, $1 for pens, and $15 for hats. And I'm going to label this column price to customers. Okay, well, what else do we know? We know that we're estimating that we're going to sell. How much did we say? We said we're going to sell 15 of these, 30 of these, and 3 of these a day. So here we're going to say 15, 30, and 3. And I'm going to label this column. We're going to call this column unit sales per day. So what we just did, By the way, you should be doing this. So if you're just watching this, I'm not sure you're going to get the most out of it. I think you should be doing this so you can get some practice at it. So rewind the video if you weren't doing this, and then go out and actually open a spreadsheet and follow along with me. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. You should do that. You should be following along with me. Great. Well, so here we got all of our assumptions into the spreadsheet. One of our last steps is to build out a representation of reality, using calculations. So what do we need to get to? We said you plan to start with the first year, build a daily revenue model for this business. A daily revenue. So what is revenue? Revenue is how much money we're making per day from these sales. So how would I do that for notebooks? I'm charging $1.50. I'm selling 15. Wouldn't it be $1.50 times 15? Wouldn't that give me the revenue for notebooks? So here's how we do that in spreadsheets. Spreadsheets, you can create calculations in these cells. This is called a cell, a cell, a cell, a cell. And you can create calculations in here. And when you create a calculation, you always start with the equal sign. So equals, and then you click on the cell that you want it to calculate. So I'm going to say cell D4, or I could type it, cell D4 times cell, what is this one? E4. So what I'm saying is, hey, whatever's in cell D4, multiply it by whatever's in cell E4. I'm going to hit enter, and you're going to see I got $22.50. Now, if I change this, if I say, hey, unit sales of notebooks actually went up to 100 per day, you can see that this calculation automatically refreshes to take $1.50 times 100. Okay, well, we got to do that for here and here. So here I'm going to say equals D5 times E5, because this is cell D5 times E5. And that makes sense. 1 times 30 is 30. And then lastly, I'm going to do it for this one. So D6, so equals D6 times E6. And $45. 15 times 3 is 45. Well, that's great. Let's label this column. So product revenue per day. Now I want you to notice that this text is longer than the column width. So it kind of stretches out. What you can do is you can come up to your letters up here and drag out that column length so that now this text fits inside of here. That's cool. Hey, we have one more calculation to do. And that is, we want to get the total of all of these, and we want to put that total right here. So we're going to do an equation. We're going to say equals F4 plus F5 plus F6. So we're saying, hey, add these all up, F4, F5, F6, hit enter, and we get $97.05. Now what I want to do is right here I'm going to put total daily revenue. And again, look at how the text is longer than this column. So one thing I could do is just stretch out this column. Boom. Now, why this is cool is because, hey, let's say that you decide to increase your price from $1 to $1.50. Look at everything updates. All of my equations update. And so once you set this up, if you set it up proper, you can come back and change your assumptions, and all of your calculations will automatically, get better or change. Okay, the last thing we need to do is we need to clean, simplify, label, and format our worksheet. So this is kind of easy to look at, but we can have some fun with this. What I like to do is I like to do things like highlight the cells. We can put boxes, shading around here. Let me see if I do it for this one. And then what I like, and then we have to format these. Right now they just look like numbers, but if you come up here, you can see that there's a number currency format. Sometimes it's hidden under here. And so we're going to say currency. So look, now it makes it look like dollars. These aren't dollars, these are unit sales. And then these are dollars here. The last thing we want to do is we want to, whenever we have a calculation in a cell, so notice up here, it's D4 times E4. D4 times E4. So this is a calculation here. What I like to do is I like to highlight the cells that have calculations in them. This way, people know not to come in here and change the value of these cells. You may pass this to a colleague, and they may say, well, you know what? We made more than $30, so I'm going to change this to $45. Okay, but now when I update here, this is no longer a calculation. It's just a hard number. And so it doesn't change and update, and that's bad. So I color these cells so that everybody knows, don't change these, they'll change on their own. And then I'm going to highlight this one like a gray to make it stand out. So you guys, look at what we did. We created a revenue model for our 3 products. We brought in our assumptions, we created our calculations, and then we formatted everything to make it look really nice. The last thing we could do is maybe highlight these 4 cells, and then there's a way that you can merge the cells. There's a little button up here. So now those cells turned into one cell. I'm going to center the text, make it a little bit bigger, and I'll say school store revenue. Boom. And you can even give it a little color if you'd like, and a box. You guys, we just created a really cool revenue model for your school store. Again, this is really simple stuff, but we're going to get more complex with it. We're just starting off with the basics. Now remember that your job is to, where is that? Your job is to build a revenue model for this right here. So create a financial model showing 14 days of revenue. So now we have to layer in, this is just one day. So how would you show 14 days? So here we're making $97.50 per day. How would you show 14 days of revenue? I'll leave that one up to you, and you can kind of have fun with that. Hey guys, this one is due on Saturday, so you'll have all week to do it. Notice that the rubric is here, and then the questions are here. What I want, I know that this simple one you could do on a calculator, and you could get these answers here. You could get these answers, how much revenue you make a day, like you could just get that by timesing these and then adding them up. I get that. I'm not concerned I'm concerned about you getting the right answer, but I'm equally concerned about you showing that you can build out the model in a spreadsheet. And so what you're going to turn in is the spreadsheet as well as these totals here. So again, and we're going to get more complicated. This is just us starting easy and getting your feet wet with it. But this is a really cool skill to know, a really important skill to know as an entrepreneur, how to build out revenue models. All right. So, hey, we're going to shift gears right now to our last topic before the video ends. And that is your project of starting a business. So I'm going to do a little bit of review, and then I'm going to tell you kind of where we're going. So, hey, here's quarter 4. Last week was week 1. I had a reading and reflection for you to do in week 1. If you haven't done that yet, please get out and do it so that we stay caught up on our assignments. Week 2, what's going to be due? Well, I'm setting your prototype building assignment to be due on Saturday. Now, I know that a lot of you are beyond that. I know some of you are like done with your build, done with your testing, not done, but well into your testing. And so I'm just giving you a little bit of extra time to make sure that you're nailing both the build and the test. So that's going to be due this Saturday. Your financial model number 1, which we just talked about, is going to be due. And then what I've done is I've opened up the competitive analysis activity for you to do, but it's not going to be due. So what I'm saying here is that, hey, this is priority right here. These two are priority. If you're done with both of these, or not done, but feeling really comfortable about that, you can get a head start on this competitive analysis. So that's this week. Next week, what's going to be due is your testing. So you've built your prototype. Now you got to get it out and get customers to actually hopefully purchase it and use it and get feedback from them as they're doing that. So that's going to be due on Saturday. And then guess what? Financial modeling number 2 is going to be due. And again, I've opened up the competitive analysis. Again, it's not due. If you want to get ahead of the game a little bit, you can start working on this. Now, once we test your prototype, you got to make a decision. Do we pivot or proceed? In other words, based on the feedback you got from your customers, do you need to pivot your idea or change it in some way? Or did you get really amazing good feedback and you're ready to proceed full steam ahead? And so there's going to be a little activity for you to do here. We're going to have financial modeling 3 due. And then look at this. Your competitive analysis is going to be due on week 4, Saturday. So right now we're in week 2. And so this is kind of how things are laid out. I just want to show you the competitive analysis. So here's the rubric for it. And then essentially what you're doing is you're going to go out and you're going to find your top 3 competitors for your business idea. Who are your top 3 competitors? Who's killing it out there in your space? And you're going to do some analysis on them. So here's the worksheet right here for competitive number 1. What stands out about their solution? What are some unique characteristics about their solution? How does the company market its solution? How does the company price its solution? And what can you take from this company to use in your solution? So that's for competitor number 1, same for competitor number 2 and competitor number 3. This is a really fun activity. You get to go out and analyze your customers and figure out what they're doing well and what they're not doing well. And then the above and beyond is this. So the Be Brilliant is, how will you position, knowing all the research you've done on your competitors, How will you position your solution in the marketplace given your competitors' positioning? So if your competitors are really expensive and high quality, can you be the low price alternative? Or if your competitors are all like convenience and low price, can you offer customers a high quality option? Et cetera, et cetera. And so you are looking at all your competitors, and then you're figuring out where you can position your business to be competitive against them. This is a really fun moment. So again, that's not due this week. It's not due next week. It's due in after week 4, and so that's how we're structured it out. Well, hey guys, and then if we go back to week 2 of quarter 4. You got your business financials, you got your prototype design and testing, and then you got your competitive analysis right here. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to the great work you do. If there's any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll fire it up. All right.